Hello my bookish beauties. Today I have a super fun tag for you. It is the Pitch Perfect tag. This tag was created by Sara Ella, who is one of my favorite booktubers and very quickly becoming just one of my favorite people in general. She is awesome. Go check out her channel right now. Go subscribe. She's amazing. She's going to be a huge author someday, so get in now while you can still say, I knew her when. One of Sara's favorite movies is Pitch Perfect. Now I have to admit, I actually had not seen the movie. I did go and watch it last week so I would be prepared to do this tag, and I really liked it. It was super fun. I'm looking forward to seeing the sequel at some point. Sara has taken songs from the movie and used them to create this tag. The first one is I Saw the Sign. That is a book or series that you stopped reading when you realized it wasn't what you thought. I'd have to say for me, that would be The Cat Who Went Bananas by Lillian Jackson. Now, I don't know exactly what I was expecting with this book. Something about a cat. I think of the series as like a cozy mystery type of thing, which I usually like. I don't know, but there was just something about it, like there was a cat, but it wasn't really about the cat. The cat just sort of happened to be there. It just wasn't a cat book like I thought it was gonna be. I think I read like the first quarter and it just did not do it for me. So I put it down. I have not gone back to Lillian Jackson since, and I probably never will. Next is Since You've Been Gone. This is a book or series you had high expectations for, but it blew it at the ending. For me, I'm gonna have to say this was the book One Day. Forget who it's even by. Hang on. David Nichols. This book started out kind of fun. It was sort of a through the years story of this couple, but the end just... It was one of those horrible endings that felt like it came out of nowhere, didn't fit the book at all. It was totally just contrived and forced, and it ruined the whole thing for me. I did end up watching the movie for some reason, but the movie was just as bad. This whole book just... no. Next is You're Gonna Miss Me When I'm Gone, which is a book or series that you missed after you finished it. And I have to say, more than anything, that's going to be Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell. This book just... I had the worst book hangover after finishing it. I still think of it all the time. The ending it was like perfect, and I totally have my speculations on the 3 words. That's a whole separate thing. It just was a great book, a great story. I've heard her say that she might do a sequel of them like 30 years later, which is just amazing. I hope she does it because it's such a good book. Next up, Just the Way You Are, a book that's beautiful inside and out. I really thought about this one for a while because even though there's a lot of books that I like, I wouldn't necessarily consider them a beautiful story. It's sort of a different description of a book. I feel like in order for a book to be beautiful, it has to really say something about life and have just a good message to it. So, after looking through the books that I had read, I finally settled on The Invention of Wings by Sue Monk Kidd. This was one of those stories that just was honestly beautiful. It's about 2 little girls who are very different. I think it takes place in like the 40s. One is a white girl and the other one is her black slave. So as you can imagine, they live pretty different lives, and it's both of their story, but it's also their story together, how they sort of help each other and teach each other. It just was a really great story, and the cover's really cool too, so it's all around just beautiful. I also read The Secret of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd, and I really love that too. I don't know, this woman can just write. Next is You Spin My Head Right Round. It's a book or series with such a great plot twist, it made your head spin. I'd have to say, of all the plot twists I've come across in my lifetime, there was one that had me just flabbergasted. And that was City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. The bomb that she drops toward the end of that book is just like, what? I mean, I had friends who had read the book already, and my text messages to them was basically a lot of like, oh, and exclamation points everywhere, and just me freaking out like, are you kidding me? What is happening? How is this even possible? What is this book? And then I had to read the next one real quick just to figure out what in the heck was going on, if it was true, if it wasn't true. Yeah. Next is Don't You Forget About Me. This is a book or series that impacted you so deeply you will never forget it. It has to be The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. This book is just amazing, especially the ending. Oh, I think of that ending all the time, and just what one of the main characters said and did, it just was, oh. It's an amazing story, and I will never forget the theme of that book, as well as the plot and the characters. Party in the USA! This is a book or series that had you so hooked you pulled an all-nighter to read it. This would have to be The Fault in Our Stars. This book, it's just one of my favorite books all around. I love everything about this book. Every page had me laughing or crying or both, and it just, I couldn't put it down. At the end of the night, I didn't want to stop reading it. There were actually a couple nights, I think it took me like 3 days maybe to read that book because I was working on stuff. So, like every night I was staying up later than I should have to finish it, and I just didn't want to put it down. I read it again since then. It was just as good the second time. The movie was fabulous. Just, Next is I've Got the Magic in Me. This would be your favorite fantasy book or series. And honestly, I know it's kind of boring maybe and a little cliche, but it's gotta be Harry Potter. I mean, is there any more epic series? Then there's Eternal Flame. This is a book or series that you'll always love no matter what anybody says about it. Alright. Time for a confession. Oh, I can't believe I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say it. I mean, it's not really a secret. If you've gone to my Goodreads account, you know it anyway, but Twilight? I know, don't shoot me. I don't care. You know what? I love this series. And a lot of you do too, so I don't want to hear it. It sold a ton of copies. Everybody saw the movies. Everybody's read these books. And you know what? It's for a reason, okay? It is a good story. I know that the writing is not great. Believe me, I know. I know that there are problems with the whole Bella and Edward thing, and she's not like a great role model, and their relationship is like totally codependent and unhealthy, but you know what? Not every book is meant to be like a role model book. Some books are examples of what not to do. I know that teens still romanticize them, blah, 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 blah. I was an adult when I read it, so I didn't have any of the hang-ups. I realized that it wasn't like the greatest scenario ever, but I also think it's pretty realistic for a lot of teenage relationships, honestly. Most of my teenage relationships were a little bit out of control and wild too. And anyway, it's just become one of those series that I will put on the audiobook and listen to in the background while I'm doing other things, and it's just, I don't really care. Haters are gonna be haters. It's still one of my favorite series, so. Finally is Just a Dream. This was a book or series that stayed on your mind and in your dreams long after you finished it. There's really only one book that I can remember vividly dreaming about the characters and the world of the book, and that was Hunger Games. I read the entire series in a week and a half, and I think actually the first book was the week, and then I read like the next 2 books in like 3 or 4 days, so I read it all at once. I actually read the last book in like a day and a half, which I don't do very often, but I was so engrossed in that world, and it was so on my mind, and it was like all I was doing because I was just reading it so much. I actually dreamt about Katniss and the characters, and it was great, and it's still one of my favorite series, some of my favorite movies. I'm really looking forward to Mockingjay because the first Mockingjay was amazing, so I hope the last one is just as good because they've been just getting better and better. When I saw Catching Fire, I was blown away. That movie was so incredible. I honestly wasn't sure if Mockingjay was gonna top it because it wasn't my favorite book of the series. Catching Fire actually was my favorite book of the series, but the first movie was incredible. As long as they do half a good job with the last part of Mockingjay, it's gonna be epic! And that's it! Thanks for watching!